Hello, my tag is Christmas is cancelled and I am a Grandmaster in the Sparky Aim Discord, and today I will be showing you everything you need to be able to get a top score in 1wall6targets TE. But before we get started, I would really appreciate both a subscription to my YouTube and a follow on my Twitch, links down below. I want to start the content making grind, so it would be really appreciated. My Grandmaster benchmark is what's currently showing. I end up with a 212.2, which is good for a rank number 33, and trust me when I say I'll be showing you everything you need to be able to go from where you're at to something like this. So if you're new to Kovacs, it could be hard to know exactly where to get started. A lot of people end up playing bad scenarios and don't really know what exactly they need to work on, or even how Kovacs helps them. Kovacs' main purpose is to help with mouse control. So what does a complete noob need to start immediately working on in order to begin improving their mouse control the right way? The key is mouse smoothness. As you can see, this is a run done by a buddy of mine who's still pretty new to PC and hasn't ever done Kovacs. It's more obvious when you compare my run to his, but the main thing is how smooth my crosshair looks when going from target to target compared to his. When you look at his, it's shaky, he flicks close and tries to micro adjust onto the target, and just general bad accuracy. The main thing to realize is that when you look at my run, I'm not flicking. I'm just aiming smooth and I can go fast while doing it. There is a difference. So what does my buddy need to do to get started on smoother aim? The number one thing is to slow down and do it right. You want to start good habits early. So if you're new, aim really slow, but make sure your crosshair is going in a straight line to your target. That it's going at one smooth speed and then you stop right on the target. The funny thing is that even though you're aiming slower, I bet you'll actually get a higher score than you usually do. You don't realize just how much time is actually wasted on the micro adjusting when you flick close. As for what routine you should practice, I believe the Sparky Aim Fundamentals routine is very good and should be followed. Join the Discord while you're at it. So you've played Kovacs for a while. Your mouse control is better, you're aiming smoother. This is a buddy of mine's run, who's played a good amount of PC shooters over the years and practices Kovacs. He gets a 155 in this run. What does he need to do to get better? Well, the first thing, honestly, is that 1wall6targets isn't very useful to practice anymore. Hitting these big of targets that are that close together really doesn't teach you much anymore. This scenario really just becomes a benchmark scenario in terms of where your aim is at. If you want to start getting better at this, you need to switch to other scenarios and routines, which forces your aim to be even smoother and faster so that when you come back to this, you hit more targets. I'll go over some of those things now. I know for a fact you need to work on the smoothness of your aim. I know you do because even I could work on the smoothness of my aim still. In fact, I need to. Aimer7 recommends a smoothness routine, which goes as followed. Lower your FOV to 80, raise your sensitivity a little bit, 10 to 20%, and play a tracking scenario for 20 to 30 minutes. I would recommend something like Thin Gauntlet. It'll kick your ass, but it'll put you on the right path. I would say that you should practice this before your standard routine, take a break, and then start your routine. A very beneficial scenario that also makes your aim smoother are Pokeball scenarios. You hold mouse 1 and go from target to target, but you have to stay on the target for a little bit in order to kill them, or else their health regens. It forces you to be smoother and stay on target, as it's the only way for the scenario to be done, or else you're not going to get a good score on it. Now that we talked about the smooth part, what about the fast part? If you struggle with your mouse control when trying to move your crosshair really fast, then there's also a speed routine you can do, also recommended by Aimer7. Take your sensitivity, divide it by 4, so in my case I'm going from 1.7 to 0.425, then play Tau Frenzy standard 01 for 10 minutes. It'll be crazy on your arm, but you gotta do it. Then divide your original sends by 2, so from 1.7 to 0.85 in my case, then play Jumbo Tau Frenzy Flick 180 for 10 minutes. Then go back to your original sends, then do any clicking scenarios. Your crosshair is going to be flying based on how fast it feels, but because you've been working on your smooth aim, you'll be able to control it, right? A scenario that helps with speed is 1wall9targets. It's basically a minute of all those clusters you sometimes get in 1wall6targets. You really need to be able to do those lightning quick while maintaining smooth aim, and this is the scenario to practice that. Lastly, for accuracy, you need to start working on small dots. 1wall6targets small, 1wall6targets extra small, wide wall 6 targets small, whatever. Getting better at small dot scenarios will make you much better at hitting those big dots better than just grinding those big dots, you feel? I believe the next video I'll make will probably be on small dots, might be tracking, so I'll go into better detail then. What other things do you need to get a higher score? Well, everything I talked about was in a pure mouse control way for improvement, but obviously if you're playing for just a high score, then you can game the scenario. There's two things you should do when going for a score. One is to always have your next target in mind. I always thought of this like reading sheet music when you're playing. You're not looking at the note you're playing, you're looking ahead, right? Same concept here, the flow that you need to constantly be clicking comes from looking ahead. The other thing you need to do is always go for the easy shots. In this case, always go for those clusters. And that's all there's pretty much to it. Hopefully what I said will get you on a more optimal path needed for improvement. Just one last thing is that you have to be consistent. Don't practice for 3 hours one day, then not play the next 2. Practice a consistent amount every day. You'll have plateaus, you'll want to take a break, which you should. But the most important thing is to just keep yourself on schedule. I've been at this every day for more than a year, and I've just started to be able to consistently get top scores, and I can tell you that you can reach this level too if you do it right. And that's all I have for you. Thank you if you got this far. And consider dropping a follow and watching my Twitch stream, where you can feel free to ask me questions when I'm on. I'll be happy to answer them.